If you're a service-based business owner, getting traffic to your website is amazing, but if you can't turn that traffic into leads and those leads into actual appointments and clients, then you're just wasting money on ads and you're wasting your time doing content, because the most important thing is turning that traffic into actual clients. So in this video, I'm going to show you 4 different web design principles you can use right now to possibly triple your business overnight. I'm not joking. These are super easy to implement, and when you do this, it'll be on your website forever. Let's hop into my computer. All right, so let's talk about the web design principles that can triple your business instantly. Now, before I get into it, let me ask you a quick question. If you're a service-based entrepreneur, meaning you own a spa, a gym, you're a photographer, car detailer, online freelancer, or any other type of service, do you want your business to grow so fast that you have more clients than you can handle? I mean, of course you do. That's what everybody wants to do in their business, right? And I guarantee you your client acquisition process looks something like this. So you can see here we have social media, ads, and SEO. You probably get your clients from one of these 3 or even all 3 methods, right? But there's one common denominator that every single potential client goes through in your funnel, and that is your website, right? So no matter what you do, they go to your website to inquire in your services. So because of this, your website is literally the greatest salesman in your business, because it never gets tired, never takes a break, and every single potential customer sees it, and it's there to convince people to become a customer 24/7. So a well-optimized website is basically the Terminator, right? It doesn't sleep, it's just there to make you money on autopilot. So if you don't have a web-optimized website, you're literally burning money. So because of this, to completely optimize your website, you need to follow these principles, right? And if you don't follow them, you're just throwing money away. Like I said, you're just like these guys out here, because you literally have a chance to get more clients without spending an extra penny on ads or any other services. So the first principle we're going to look at is called Hick's Law. So basically, Hick's Law says that the more choices you give people, the longer they will take to make a decision, right? And the longer it takes someone to make a decision on your website, the more likely they will be to leave, right? If they have too many options to choose, they usually get paralysis by analysis and don't choose anything, right? So the less choices someone has to make on your website, the more likely they'll pick the one choice that matters, whether that's buy your product, put in their information to become a lead, or book an appointment with you, right? So let me give you an example of a website that doesn't use Hick's Law very well and a couple that do, so you can kind of see how it works and implement this into your own website. So this is Forbes.com, and you can see on this page a lot's going on, right? You can see here they have 2 videos here, 1 video here, 1 video here. They have a place to subscribe to newsletters. Then you can subscribe to their page. Then you can sign in. It's just a lot going on. And because of this, it usually overwhelms your potential client, and they just start to leave because they don't even know what the point of this entire page is, right? So scrolling down and looking at a website that does as well, you can see this is Apple.com. And Apple, of course, is great with design. You can see how clean and different it is. Look at the difference between this one and that one. This one is crazy, super, everything's going on. You scroll down here, it's just nice, peaceful, and calm, right? That's the vibe you want to give onto your website. And you can see here, there's not many choices you could have with your website. You could either go here and take a look at the nav bar. You can either click here to shop gifts, or you can scroll down. You literally have 3 options. That's it. There's no other option on this website. And that's perfect because it leads the client into the action you want them to take. Let's take a look at another website that does this very well, Airbnb.com. Now, this may look like a lot's happening, but it's really not, right? It is very well designed, it's beautiful, and there's really only 3 options, again, you can give the actual client to be on your website. They can either sign in, right? They can sign in there, or they can search a destination where they want to go, or they can just look at some popular destinations around their area. That's literally all the choices they have. And giving them these small amount of choices makes it easy for them to make the right choice. And every single one of these choices leads them down to interacting with their business and buying their products, right? So the best way to use Hick's Law is to understand the main goal of the people on your website. Why are people there? Generally, why are you there? Imagine if you're walking into a store. Why are you there in the first place? If you go to Publix, you're there to buy food. That's literally it. And you also have to make sure that you remove anything that doesn't lead to that goal, right? So a lot of times people add useless things to their website. Here are a couple of examples, right? So the first one is certain FAQ pages. Now, FAQs are great, but if you have an FAQ page that goes on like 15 hours long, it's so much, it's really just a waste of time, because a lot of the questions they have can be answered after they become a client of yours, right? And another Another thing is a lot of people put an entire history page of their business. They put it 15 pages long. You really don't need to be that long, right? People like to have some backstory, but don't make the history of your business so long that it distracts from the purpose of your website. And also a big thing here is certain contact forms. Now, a lot of websites have contact forms, and the thing is with contact forms is they're not really clear as to what the benefit is of doing it, right? So instead of having a contact form, I highly suggest that you have an appointment booking system so that people could just book an appointment with you instead of putting their contact info, because if they put their contact info, they don't know why they're doing it. But when they book an appointment, you can talk to them one-on-one and you can solve their problems and turn them into a client instantly. Now let's move on to rule number 2. Rule number 2 is the rule of thirds on your website, right? So the rule of thirds states that you should divide your website section into thirds. It also states that you should place your main subjects in the left or right third of the entire image. Now, let me give you guys, of course, a picture example of how this usually works in action. So you can see here a good rule, of course, we're going back to Apple because Apple is #1 in design. So you can see here the entire page is cut up into thirds, and it's very genius what they do. It's very simple, the most beautiful, simple website ever. It's just on the left here, you literally just have the name of the product, a nice little subheadline, the price, and buy it. That's it. That's all people need. And on the right, you have a picture of it as well. Now, there's one big point to note with the rule of thirds, and that's that people usually scan from left to right. So you'll notice that the call to action, the most important text blocks, are usually on the left. Now, let's take a look at another example that does very well. You can see here that this page is called Fire Nation Newsletter. So you can see how simple it is. On the left here, it just shows the name of the actual newsletter. It shows a little bit about the newsletter and just the call to action button. Literally, that's it. There's nothing on the right here except a picture of him, and that's the best thing. All they can do is either go and click on the newsletter or leave the website. That's literally it. So they have 2 choices. There's a 50% chance they're going to go and sign up to this man's website. Now, I will make a disclaimer. You don't have to make your whole website into the rule of thirds, right? The best place to use it is just above the fold, right? So if you don't know what above the fold is right before you actually scroll down on your homepage. The first chunk of website that you see, that is above the fold. As soon as you start scrolling down, that's below the fold. All right, let's move on to number 3. And number 3 is using negative space to your advantage, right? So in web design, white space is often referred to as negative space. Positive space is a space that contains visual elements on your site, like text, images, and call to action buttons. And negative space is an empty space in between, right? So a lot of people may think that you have to have every single piece of real estate of your website used. Not true at all. You can use negative empty space to design it better and to lead people into doing what you want on the website. So let me show you how that works. So here is Firefox. It's a good use of white space. This is like the best white space use I've ever seen. It's basically a completely white screen with like 5 things on it. So you can see on the top left here, it's literally just, little title about what Firefox is, then a nice little picture to show people using it, and then just links. That's literally it. This is a perfect use of white space. It makes it so simple. People are only seeing what they need to see. That's perfect for them. Great example of it. And a good use of white space does 3 things in your business. 1, it keeps users from being overwhelmed. You don't want that, definitely. You want people to be calm and easy when they go to your website. It also allows users to focus on what really matters, and it makes your content easy to scan. I always say people don't read websites, they scan, right? In this day and age, people have such short attention spans. People just look through, see what they want, see the big points, and then just decide if they want to work with you, right? And also, it's important to use this in text as well. So here are some tips for negative space in your text. Make sure your font is small. The smaller the font, the more space you need in between the letters. Your line height should be approximately 150% of the font size of your body copy. And make sure to break up large text blocks into smaller paragraphs to increase negative space between them. This makes your content easy to scan again. So I'm going to show you a great example of a website that uses great text blocks and negative space. So you can see here, this is Dropbox.com, and this is perfect, right? It's very simple, very clean. It just has a couple chunks of text that are separated equally. They have, of course, the logo here, which is nice. They have a place where you can choose if you want teams for individuals. Then they break this up, this entire little headline here, they break it up and disconnect it from the actual subheadline to make use of the space very well. It's a very nice design, and that's literally it. And on the right, you can see here, it's just you can sign up and it has the form and everything, but you don't need a lot of text to convey what you want people to do or to convey your product. And this is a perfect example of that. Now, number 4, and arguably one of the most important factors in today's age, is applying the 8-second rule, right? So basically, if you guys know today with social media, everyone has an attention span of nothing, right? You probably heard that you only have 8 seconds to get a visitor's attention because that's the average human attention span today. That's literally worse than a goldfish, right? It's insane what the social media and the technology has done to us, but we can use that to our advantage, right? So because of this, here's some practical tips for the 8-second rule to keep visitors on your website, right? So first is to use really big headlines that explain the benefit of your product very quickly so people don't have to spend too much time reading. Also, use specific copywriting practices to really grab people's imagination. I have another video coming out explaining and breaking down the right copywriting scripts you should use. You should also use eye-catching images. You should use large and simple sign-up buttons, power words. You should use multimedia content, and also use animated things and animated exit pop-ups so when people leave your website, they still have an option to work with you and your business, right? So if you're a service-based business owner and you're really struggling to turn the traffic from your website into leads and turning those leads into appointments on autopilot, then click the first link in the description I have below. When you click that link, you'll see a video of my company explaining how we can help you solve that problem. Now, you don't have to click, but feel free to click if you're having an issue with a client acquisition problem from your website. All right, thanks so much for watching.